Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about advanced organizers. And advanced organizers, you've seen examples earlier, allow students to already have a bird's eye view or to see the big picture of the topic to be learned even before going into the details. So you've already seen an example of that. So it serves as a bridging gap between new ideas and existing ideas. So what you already know, you're able to link easier and you see the relationship because there is an organizer that guides you. An advanced organizer is information that is presented prior to learning and that can be used by the learner to organize and interpret new incoming information. So, in a way, if you remember Vygotsky, advanced organizer also serves as a scaffold on how you will organize and how you are, what to expect, what more to learn, and how to put together the things that you will learn. So, if no previous knowledge is available, advanced organizers are used to give knowledge to students in order for this framework to be followed and new information retained for recall and transfer. So, let's say what you're learning is something totally new to you. The advanced organizer already gives you a structure, it already suggests to you how you will organize these new things that you are learning. Okay, so it's very important just to emphasize again for organization of ideas and information. So it's like, especially if you're so visual, you see the organizer in your head. Even if you're taking the examination already, you just close your eyes and you sort of see how the concepts and information are related to each other. So therefore, the benefits of advanced organizers would be first, one will find it easier to connect new information with what one already knows about the topic. So it already suggests to you. That's why I keep telling you your brain should be organized so that when you need the information, you get to see it in your head and you're able to retrieve it when needed. And another benefit is one can readily see how the concepts in a certain topic are related to each other. Okay, so you get to understand a new branch of information because you already see how they are interconnected. So the types of advanced organizers, we have the expository, the narrative, okay, the scheming, and the graphic organizer. So we'll go back to each one and then I'll just show you examples. So expository describes the new content and the unfamiliar content. Okay, so it shows you uh, what things you probably already know and the new ones that you will learn. The narrative presents the new information in a form of a story. Very useful if you are discussing history or some piece of literature, and it will help your learners remember through a narrative organizer. Skimming is done by looking over new material to gain a basic overview. So if there's a lecture and the speaker, like in a seminar, presents to you the advanced organizer and you skim through it, you look at the elements there in the organizer, you already see what the speaker will be speaking about. And of course, the graphic organizer, these are visuals to set up or outline new information. So this is very big nowadays because learners, remember when we had a survey on the type of learners, majority in your class were what type of learners? Right. You were largely what? Visual learners. And graphic organizers is very, very useful. You have a lot of infographics nowadays, and they are some sort of a graphic organizer, a more advanced view. I'm sure David Ausubel will be so happy with PictoChart and all the other apps that allow you to use graphic organizers. So let us look at some examples for expository. So it's like an illustration that shows to you the content, no, um, through text and pictures, and it also helps establish the patterns of the concepts that you are learning. A narrative, as I've mentioned, tells you a story. So it's very useful in indicating what happened, where, when, who was with you, no? And then your learners can put details here. So this is an example of a narrative organizer. And then for scheming, let's say you're looking at a particular historical period and you know that the speaker will be discussing different aspect of that particular historical period, like the political events and the literature and music and art at that time, and the influential people in that era, human rights, exploration, and inventions. So as you are learning about this, then you can add certain informations here. So at one glance, you see what the topic will be about, whether it be in a lecture or maybe in a book, what you can expect to learn from it. No? And so these are other examples of graphic organizers, how you can present information to your students. Like this one, the Venn diagram. When do you use this? When you need to, like there are two circles and there's this common place here in the middle. When you want to compare, okay, two concepts, and the one on the left will be for this one concept, unique to this and then unique to the other one, and the one where they intersect is the commonality um, between these two concepts that you are presenting. So that's how you use the Venn diagram. And then, of course, you can be creative like this, no? Depending on the age of your learners, even for preschoolers, elementary, high school, you can be creative in presenting your graphic organizer as long as they are logical. Okay, so you have the main idea here, the bar, and then, of course, what hangs are details. Okay. And then you can also use, so this is just another way of presenting it. You have the main idea, the big balloon, and then there are details around it. In the in Word, in PowerPoint, you can just click Smart Art and it tells you what type of graphic organizer you can use when you are presenting a particular set of information. Are you presenting a story like Cat in the Hat? So this one would be a good graphic organizer. No? It's narrative. It shows the plot and the character and the main idea and the setting and the problem. Okay? So you're not going to use this if you will present a process, no? Or you will be comparing two things. This is better if you are doing a narrative one. So it takes thinking about how the information you're going to present are related and in choosing intentionally the appropriate graphic organizer. Do you recognize this? We just had this. This is which theory? Okay, it has 9 events. You're right. It's Gagne's 9 events. Okay, so this one presents steps. No, so that's why it's in stairs like this. Okay, so it wouldn't be logical to put all these steps in random balloons because it's not going to show how the information, pieces of information or the steps are related to each other. So uh, you have to be very logical when you choose your graphic organizer. Okay. And then this one, you see, these are gears. And you know, when one moves, the other one moves as well. And there's a chain reaction because this is what? It's a process. No? So you ask, you imagine, you plan, you create, and you improve. So that's the design process. Okay, so you use gears. That's the purpose of the gear. You don't just put it if you're just putting random information. You use gears if you are discussing a process that after you do a certain process, a certain step, it would affect the next one. And now they move all together. Okay. And then this is another way, of course, circular, another way of presenting a process. So if you're just listing information like what are the 4 types of subsumption, you won't use this because they are types of subsumption. They don't speak of step 1, derivative. Step two, combinatorial. It's not like that. They are different types. So you won't use this. You use this type of organizer if it's a process. Okay, so it clearly will show your students the arrows and how the process would get along. No? Okay, and this one is for hierarchical set of information. Like you have a big concept there, like learning theories, and then you can have here the cognitive and the behaviorist. Remember, I always do this in the blackboard, and then under that would be the different behaviorist theories or the other cognitive theories. So if it's hierarchical, there's a main concept, and then it goes down, then you use this type of graphic organizer. So you see, it's a way for the teacher to quickly communicate the information that he or she wants the students to understand and remember. Okay, so this one, you see, matter, substance. So it's another example of hierarchical information. You can combine um, graphics and illustrations for it. So this is a concept web, another way of using a graphic organizer. Okay, so there's a video. You can watch the video after this. It's just a summary of the uses of advanced organizers. You can watch that later. And then research tells us that advanced organizers, including graphic ones, help students learn new concepts. So it's not just something that David Ausubel claims, but research will tell us that it's really helpful, obviously, especially for visual learners like you. And now we go to the activity. This ends my video lecture. I hope you learned a lot. I know you cannot ask me questions, but since we're flipping the classroom, we'll have a whole session on exploring the things that we learn together in the video lecture. But for this time, I want you to do the activity. How can I use advanced organizers? You can go into groups and then choose a topic related to your field of specialization, or grab a textbook if you are learning about Rizal or principles of teaching or some other subject. You can just grab your textbook and then decide on the type of organizer you will use. You just choose a topic and then design your own type of organizer. If you have your laptops with you, you can use smart art and you can be creative about it. The colors can also tell about the organization of the information, like how they are related. And then do prepare the graphic organizer, and we'll process them, we'll talk about them in our face-to-face meeting. Okay, so I hope you read on and learn more about graphic organizer because it's a cool way to teach. Bye.